This is James Speed coming forward with another video. So yeah, what I want to do before I continue, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, is basically, I want to correct what I said in the prior video when I was just speaking about a lot of different things. But I did also mention how if a woman, if a man had passed, if his brother had passed, and his brother did not have any children with the woman who was his former sister-in-law, where that they would have to marry in order to keep his brother bloodline together. So what I meant to say was if her father didn't have any sons, not if her father didn't have any brothers, because she would marry her father's brother's sons, which would be her cousins. So let me iterate that. So for those who are watching on YouTube, whatever, just want to correct that, because I'm not one of those people that feel like I can't be corrected. If I said something wrong, I don't care what it is. If it's concerning, and it was Numbers 36. I know the video was mirrored. Hopefully I can go live on YouTube where I don't have to worry about this. And maybe I can go back to doing things where I could upload it, just make a YouTube video and upload it. But sometimes it takes a long time to do that because the bit rate. But anyway, so it's Numbers chapter 36 that go into the law of inheritance. So also that's another example where polygyny could be forced on a man, because it doesn't say, it doesn't say if his brother passed and if he was married, if the second oldest brother was married, that he could be exempt from marrying his former sister-in-law. He could be exempt. So the only thing that exempt him is if they did have a child. But if he resisted, that she could untie his shoe, spit in his face, and he'll have a shameful name amongst the brethren of Israel. So because he didn't raise up his family name. So that's how serious, marriage and family was, back in that day, far as, procreating. That's why the law concerning eunuchs in Numbers chapter 23, Deuteronomy chapter 23, where it says any male who private member was removed couldn't inherit the congregation because of, like I said, a lot of things is based on you not having anti-tateness, any issues concerning the body, blameless, just like the lamb, you made the sacrifice of the Lord, had to be quote unquote perfect, had to be intact. Everything had to be there. So, but that's why we see with the promise in Isaiah 56 is saying, nor the stranger nor the eunuch could be able to say that the Most High doesn't know them. They can enter to the congregation. All right. Because even though you're not able to bring in a physical family, you're able to bring in God's spiritual family. As Christ said, who is my brother, who is our mother? Those who do the will of my Father. Like, yes, that's my brother. Yeah, that's my sister over there. But, those who are right here, who are getting this information, this knowledge, and living this truth. And, this is the real family. This is the real family nucleus and origin. But anyway, but that's basically, saying I want to make sure that when I'm saying something that I'm saying it in the right way. So I don't care what it is. But so with that's another example where people have to look at and say that, there's things that other nations did, but the Most High people did it a certain way. All right. And like I said, we're getting to also, today is the Pentecost, right? Or I think Shavuot. And I think in the solar calendar, it's a little different. And if we go by the lunar calendar, because, Israel, we have two solar and a lunar calendar. We have a civil and I think you say a civil and a royal calendar, right? But this is Pentecost. So 7 weeks after a Passover, right? This is dealing with from the barley into the wheat. So the feast of wheat. So the wheat is growing. So, and we now, for those who study the word, talk about the separation from the wheat, the tares from the wheat. I believe in Matthew chapter 13. So that as well. And we see what's going on in the false Israeli, as Revelations 3 and 9 say, the Jews who call themselves Jews but are not, but the synagogue of Satan, the war and that's taking place over there. As Christ said, Jerusalem will be trodden down by the Gentiles till the time of the Gentiles be fully come in. And they call themselves Gentile Jews, right? They're Ashkenazi, right? Ashkenaz come from what? The sons of Japhet, right? These are the isles of the Gentiles. And everybody who know their history know they only come into like the 3rd or 4th century. They're not the real Israelites. The real Israelites are Yehudis or Ethiopia, Americans scattered across the four corners of earth, and they look like me or darker than me. But not everybody with dark skin is an Israelite or Yehudi or Jew. Okay, but anyway, going to that, but also peep game, before I continue, we saw right after that where, right before this has happened over there, they basically told our brothers and sisters in Dimona that they got to leave. They can't stay in Dimona anymore, right? And maybe a few days after that is when all hell break loose, right? So, yeah, after that they had the stampede, and now back and forth with Palestinians and the Israeli, you know what I mean? So, what's going on? But, all this is to make way for God's chosen people to be in our borders and to be in our places where we're meant to be at, right? So, hallelujah, things are happening, and stay prepared, stay prepared. But anyway, so what I really want to get into, I know I probably said so much, talk so fast, is, dealing with that, I've covered that. So, if a woman inheritance, if she wanted to keep the inheritance of her father, she had to marry within the family. Not her brother, because Leviticus 18, because people would say, well, that's incest. When they read Numbers 36, right? What's incest is, Leviticus 18 goes into what's incest. Is one's marrying their mother, their father, or their auntie, et cetera, right? But cousin is not mentioned in Leviticus 18. Laying with one's cousins are mentioned. So when one tried to say, well, these royals, these other pagans, they marry to their family, they commit incest, they are if they're marrying their brother, their sisters, like that. But if they're marrying their cousin, that's not incest according to the Bible, Leviticus 18. Look it up. I tell people, look it up. So if you want to condemn other people, other nations, and say that they're going against, what the Most High designed, actually read the Torah and see what the Most High said you can and cannot do. You know what I mean? So just like if a person say, oh, this person practiced polygyny, they're going to hell, right? Or he's committing adultery because he have 2 wives. Right here in the Holy Bible, we see examples where regular, even average men had more than one wife. Well, the fathers of the prophets had 2 wives. The Most High blessed them for doing this. So if you're going to condemn other people in other nations for doing something, make sure that, we have, and I know it's mirror, I know it's going to backwards, but make sure that we are precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little, that we're rightly dividing the word of truth. So we don't condemn our ancestors, and so shout out to my people on YouTube who appreciate what I'm doing. I appreciate those who listening. And hopefully I can do a live. I get enough where I can do a live, go there where I can answer y'all questions directly. Because it's things that come in my mind, things come up in your mind. I can just, go to it. But anyway, I'm going to read this. I'm going to read this passage. Then I'm going to continue to dealing with eunuchs and the Essene sect and how all that play into the age of Aquarius, right? So, all right. Okay, Numbers chapter 36. And it reads, and the chief fathers of the families of the children of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, and of the families of Joseph, came near and spake before Moses and before princes and the chief fathers of the children of Israel. And they said, Lord commanded my Lord, give the land for an inheritance by lot to the children of Israel. And my Lord was commanded by the Lord to give the inheritance of Zelophehad our brothers unto his daughters. And if they be married to any of the sons of the tribes of Israel, of the children of Israel, then shall their inheritance be taken from the inheritance of our fathers, and shall be put to the inheritance of the tribe whereunto they were received. So shall it be taken from the lot of our inheritance. And when the children of Israel should be, and when the jubilee of the children of Israel should be, then shall their inheritance be put unto the inheritance whereof the tribe where they received. So shall their inheritance be taken away from the inheritance tribe of fathers. Okay. And these are things, skip on down. These are the things concerning the daughters of Zelophehad, saying, let them marry who they think best into the family tribes of their fathers shall they marry. All right. So shall the inheritance of the children of Israel remove from the tribe So shall not the inheritance of the children of Israel remove from tribe to tribe. For every one of the children of Israel shall keep to himself to the inheritance of the tribe of his fathers. Verse 8, and every daughter that possesseth any inheritance in any tribe of the children of Israel shall be wife unto one of the family of the tribe of her father, that the children of Israel may enjoy every man the inheritance of his fathers. All right. So neither shall the inheritance, verse 9, neither shall the inheritance remove from one tribe to another, but every one of the tribes of the children of Israel shall keep himself to his own inheritance. All right. Okay. Remains your heritage tribe and father. So married to the families. So anyway, so they and I know it's another verse where mentioned they married their father's brother's sons. There we go. Okay, verse 11, right? For Melha, Tizrah, Hogah, Mekah, and Noah, the daughters of Zelophehad, were married unto their father's brother's son. Okay, and they were married unto the families of the sons of Manasseh, the sons of Joseph, and their inheritance remained in the tribe of the family of their father. All right. So we see there they married unto their father's brother's sons. Okay. They're cousins. So that's cousin marriage. And there's many examples. I think even Joseph and Mary, Yeshua, or the world falsely called Jesus Christ, mother and father were, I believe, cousins. The line, they come from David. So I think Solomon was Joseph, and I think it's right there. Rehoboam, if I'm saying his name right, it's right there to my tongue, was Mary. It come to me. But they come from the same come from David. So like I said, usually, people from Judah, they're gonna have the same relatives, right? They're gonna usually have it, And we know Joseph and Manasseh, Ephraim, Manasseh, the tribe of Joseph, what I'm saying? Same tribe. But also, what I want to go into is basically, and I might do a part 2 of this, is basically going into how much am I? I went over. But it's basically with the scene set, right? So I'm gonna cover the scene set. So a lot of people, when they say stuff about the feminine agenda, they say all these things, right? Or they see two men holding hands. People have to understand, they see a man in a dress, right? Or a tunic, which was the first form of dress, was tunic, right? What was a dress. Like, pants were made later on. We see with Moses or Moshe, the pendulum or the pants or the pendulum was made for the sons of Aaron, okay? That came later on. In Genesis, all you had was a skirt or a dress or a tunic to cover up that part of the body. So the man and woman wore a similar fashion of clothing. Like, that's all you had. Were just to cover it up, all right? And the priest, I think, still had the pendulum, but they would still have the tunic over them, all right? So we see that, just like a robe. There's really no female or male robe. A robe is a robe. So you even have clothing that is unisex. So when you go in a place in the Bible where it says, a man should not wear that pertaining to a woman should not wear that pertaining to a man, in Torah, they don't go until where that's speaking about paganism. Just like when you go to Leviticus 18, where it talks about, a man living with another man, where that's talking about his abomination, death shall be upon him. Before you get to that, it talks about what? Paganism. It talks about the priest of Molech, of sacrificing your children into the fire of Molech, right? Pagan sex rituals. So when you see abomination, you see that it's talking about pagan sex rituals, not consenting men who decide to lay with each other. Because, like I said, there was no word for homosexual. There was no word for there was no word for it. So, but that's what it was referring to. That's what it's talking about. All right. And there's many other examples. And when you see the word abomination there, abomination can also mean what? Ethnic, or it can mean, paganism, idolatry, or it can mean just wrong or ethically just more like wrong around the circle. So when you see the two main words for abomination in the Hebrew. So there's a lot of things that has been taken here and there, whatever, right? Okay, but what I want to say about the scene set. Okay, let me continue. I'll keep going off subject. There's so much to cover. A scene set. So the scenes were a esoteric mystical sect of Israel during the time of Christ. And ones of them didn't marry, right? So what they would do, they would kind of do the roles of the woman because they didn't have women. A good portion of them were older, they didn't have women, right? So they would do things like carry pitchers of water. Now, when we go into Luke, and I think it's 20 or 22, where Christ told the disciples, carry, go to keep the Passover, which, like I said, mentioned in Pentecost now, as day of Pentecost, the Passover, they go to a man carrying a pitcher of water and ask him, guide you to the house, and this is where we will go to keep the Passover. Mind you, for those who don't look at that, because like I say, a lot of us still look at things from a Western Gentile mindset. Hold on, carrying a pitcher of water. What is a man doing carrying a pitcher of water? That's how they saw that back in those days. Like that was a very feminine, and not necessarily infeminine, but that was a very feminine or gender bending type of thing to do. It's equivalent if a person say, hey, go to the man that's wearing a lipstick and, and the nails and the purse. And it's like, hold on, go to the man that's wearing hold on. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? What is he doing with lipstick on? Like but people knew who that was. That was the Essene sect, right? And some say Yeshua come out from the Essene sect. A lot of the sayings that the Essenes have mirror, Yeshua Christ. But anyway, the wearing of the white of the robe, the baptism, and all of that, right? John the Baptist say Yeshua, John the Baptist were from that sect. So because you had the Essenes, you had the Pharisees, Sadducees, you had the Zealots, you had Sicaries, you had different many sects of that time. And the scenes of the Rome some of them became, I think, the Gibeonites, if I'm not mistaken. But I think they end up marrying. But you had to go through a process of initiation, I think 7 years, to become a member of the scene. So they dealt with the Bible and definitely different things from very deeper esoteric level, right? But this is something that was overlooked because in America, a man carrying jugs of water is not considered, that's considered alpha. That's considered like, hey, I'm strong, I can carry water. But in certain places, even in Africa, certain places, only women do that. Like carrying certain things, only women carry certain things. So here in America, man can carry just about anything, probably except a purse or a man bag, but we can carry a lot of things that's heavy and certain things we think is manly. But if you go to another country, the Oriental type of, places, like they're looking at you like, okay, what are you doing? Just like here in America, we might throw money. Oh, you throw money in the air, right? But if you go to Colombia, you throw money. Hell, even at a strip club, you throw money. They gonna get at you. You don't throw money in the air. It's so people still looking at things from a perspective that is not how people looked at things back then. They don't really know how our ancestors really viewed things like that, like carrying pitchers of water. And we find also that was a sign of punishment to a man in the Torah. I try to remember, it come to me. I wish I had all the notes and stuff, but it was a man who did something foul. And I think to punish him and his sons, they punished him with carrying pitchers of water, if I'm able to get that. Like I say, but that was just like if a man didn't have a beard, right? That was shameful. Like when King David had sent his men out, you could say to send a message out to, I think, was it the Syrians? One of them to give a message. And they basically, shaved the beard off and, cut the part of the buttons of the clothing. And he told the men, stay inside, I think, for like, until your beard is fully grown, stay inside, because they didn't want to come outside. That was a very shameful thing. So just like carrying a pitchers of water or jugs of water, that was a very shameful thing. So a lot of us are so American that we don't, we're trying to condemn people, not knowing that we're condemning ourselves based on how our ancestors view the things that we do today, that we think is macho, we think is masculine, all right? Like real talk, like real. But that's what I'm saying. If a person is going to condemn somebody, they need to also really, or another culture or whatever, or they need to really look and see what thus says the Most High, right? Carrying pictures. So, but that's also what people overlook. So we see that example of somebody doing that, and Christ didn't condemn them. Christ didn't say, "Oh, they around here doing that," which pertained, because that is something that pertained to women, right? And Yeah, because I think even when our ancestor Isaac, I think married Rebecca, right? She was getting water, I think, from the well. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like that was something that women did. But we see the scenes doing that, which is something that's for women. And Yeshua didn't say, hey, tell him to put that pitcher down and that's for women. It was like, no, he'll guide you the way to keep the Passover. And also, that's dealing with the age of Aquarius, right? The water barrier, which Aquarius, in the age of Aquarius or the sign of Aquarius deals with gender, deals with communication, truth, and deals with a gender, right? And that's why everybody is talking about transgender, gender, right? It's trans people are being persecuted during this time. Yeshua was being persecuted, or the eunuchs was being persecuted back then. Christians, those who follow Christ, are being persecuted, being beheaded because it was the age of Pisces. You know what I'm saying? Now we're in the age of Aquarius. Gender, eunuchs, for the kingdom of heaven's sake, kingdom coming, eunuchs, trans. People feel like, oh, I can do this to trans people. I can do this to trans people, right? Or you a eunuch, you can't come into the kingdom of heaven. And they read Isaiah 56 and verse 3 to 5 say, the eunuch will have a better name than sons and daughters. You know, those eunuchs who keep my laws and commandments. Let me stress that. Let me rephrase, those who keep my commandments will have a better name than sons and daughters. So give a better promise, better name. So, yeah. Okay, yeah, Genesis 24:15, and it came to pass before he had done speaking that, behold, Rebekah came out, who was born to Bethuel, son of Micah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, with her pitcher upon her shoulder, right? 24:16, the damsel was very fair to look upon, a virgin, neither had any man known her. She went down to the well and filled her pitcher. All right, the servant ran down, prayed he drink water from thy pitcher. I think it's in Judges, and break the pitchers in hand. Now that was when they went to war. But it was but I don't think they had no water. But basically, carrying around pitchers of water. Well, okay, yeah. I think it was steam or the pitchers of water was basically seen as a. I'll probably do a video on that. It was basically seen as a shameful thing to do. You know what I'm saying? As a way of punishment. But yeah, carrying it around, especially in public, that was like, what are you doing in public carrying a pitcher of water? Like, what are you doing? Yeah. So that's basically what I want to cover. There's so much in the video, so much other stuff I want to deal with. Like I said, I kind of went over. I'll probably do part 2 and go into other things I want to carry. But just stay tuned for y'all. And like I say, Shabbat, but not Shabbat Shalom.